All right, Jim, well, let's get back to your former friendship circle, WWE Raw.
Well, that was, it's Cena and Dominik for the Intercontinental title. And they had a good, again, John is not at the point where he's going to take a variety of risks of flying through furniture and etc., but that encouraged them to have a wonderful in the ring for the most part, except when people were getting run into the stairs, in-ring wrestling match that they put together, I thought very well. That Dominik got a lot of heat on him. And then John made the big comeback, and "You Can't See Me" was unanimous, just huge. But then they tried to have a classic roller coaster of a finish, and in my earnest and erstwhile opinion, just being a small town bird booker, they did an unnecessary spot and did a false finish that was better than the actual finish. And I think they just tried to get too cute. Here's what they did. Dominik posted Cena after foiling the attitude adjustment. And then Dominik goes over and unties the turnbuckle pad and takes it off. And it walks away. So the referee sees it and goes over there and just, he's just going to take time to goddamn Betsy Ross this fucking turnbuckle pad back on the turnbuckle with his back completely turned to the Intercontinental title match on live television, like that's not what the heel wanted him to do. It just made the referee look stupid then, which was, to me, a distraction subliminally for some of the people in the audience. And then while the referee's doing that, Dominik goes out and gets a chair and tosses it to Cena and then falls down, or hits the mat, tosses it to Cena and then falls down. Well, then Cena drops the chair and falls down too. And I again understand they're doing the homage to Eddie Guerrero and the old trick that he used to use as a false fit. But again, with what else is going on here, they've muddied the water. They were going well. The referee turns around and looks at both of them down and is overacting, looking from one to the other like, oh my God, what could have happened? Instead of just counting. He didn't start to count. Then Dominik finally just bolts upright, pissed, and grabs the chair, and he and the referee have the tug of war. The referee pulls the chair. And as soon as Dominik turns around, Cena picks him up for the attitude adjustment, and they bump the referee. They're just going in different directions. Then Cena gets the STF and Dominik taps, but there's no referee. So Cena jumps up. Oh, but he can't find the referee. He realizes that he hasn't won after all. But meanwhile, while he's looking for the referee, who's obviously laying out on the goddamn floor where he can see, Dominik goes and gets the title belt and comes back in the ring and swings, and he ducks and picks up fucking Dominik, gives him the attitude adjustment, pitches the belt out. A new referee runs down, slides in, the cover, 1, 2. He kicked out. Dominik kicked out. So the match continued. And then Dominik hit a 619 and went up to the top rope and did the frog splash. But when he frog splashed him, Cena rolled through and picked him up and boosted him and gave him the attitude adjustment, 1, 2, 3, and won the belt. But in doing so, he no-sold the frog splash. Brian, first of all, have you ever seen anybody roll through a frog splash?
I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
But you have seen multiple people over the course of all the years of wrestling roll through on a crossbody off the top.
Yes, that's common.
Because there is some rolling momentum to that. It works not only because of physics, it would technically work without cooperation, but also it flows, it works. You haven't actually been struck with anything by a crossbody except the weight of the guy until you land on the ground, and if the momentum takes a blah, blah, blah. But in this case, Dominik, who has been beating people with the frog splash, gives Cena the frog splash and lands flat on him. And then Cena kicks his legs up and rolls over and picks him up. Hell of a display of strength. But he no-sold the frog splash. Do you see what I'm saying to you here on the difference in these things?
Of course. Again,
So-
I don't remember ever seeing it on a frog splash before.
Because it never been done. But not all things that have never been done should be done. But that's this got so busy that I think the spot with the chair, while cute, was unnecessary. You know, throwing the chair and laying down, and they had the people with Cena's comeback. It was going. And then all of a sudden that slowed everything down. And then when they got going again, they bumped the referee, but they had the new referee run in. Cena was going to win and he was on top. The new referee running in, counting to 3, would have gotten a bigger pop than the finish they actually did. If they had him right there, it would have been perfect. But instead, they do 2 more moves. Cena is unfazed by Dominik's frog splash and hits the AA, which is we're back where the fuck we were a minute ago, for still a great pop. But the false finish was better than the real finish. Say it ain't so. Prove me wrong.
I mean, I'm kind of immune now just because it's too frequent, and that doesn't mean it's good with the false finishes for everything. We point out that everyone kicks out of everything. Here they kind of tied it in a little bit with the referee bump. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I thought the pop they got for Cena winning was pretty extraordinary, actually.
Oh, it was. But
It may have been the biggest pop for someone winning that belt since the Ultimate Warrior at the Garden in '88.
If you go back and look at the momentum and the way they had that going and the reaction of the new referee running in and the fucking right to that 1-2 kick, that would have been, they would have all come in their pants and had to take them all to the dry cleaners. The seats would have been sticky. The babies would have been thrown so far up in the air that when they landed, they would have been spread across them like fucking jelly on a biscuit. It would have been a spontaneous ectoplasmic explosion. I sound like Oliver Humperdinck now. They had him. They didn't need the goddamn deal.
People there were really happy. It was a big moment. What do you do now? Cena's the Intercontinental Champion.
Well, this does bring that up, doesn't it? Again, I'm astonished that even in character, as the young folks say, that John Cena has just never referred to the fact that Brock Lesnar just came out and just beat him like he fucking owed him money, just like a red-headed stepchild, as they used to say back in the old days. And he doesn't want to get even before he fades off in the sunset. He's embarrassed, ashamed. He's never going to mention it again. That strikes me as so odd. And I assume this is to, and we'll see what happens, but I would think that the obvious thing is for Cena to then put Gunther over for the Intercontinental title on his last night on Saturday night's main event. That will actually be him doing a job that will do some good for somebody, whereas the one to Brock didn't accomplish anything long term, and they're not even talking about it. Have I missed all that conversation about
No,
it?
he's been nothing but cheery and happy since Brock beat the shit out of him. We haven't seen another mention
Well,
to it.
I guess he adjusted his attitude.
I guess so.
Son of a bitch.
I hate to say it, but that was the only part of Raw I cared about. I thought it was a great first 40 minutes or whatever it was of Raw, and nothing else on that show was going to live up to it, and going through it on Netflix this morning, I was right.